Arachne challenged a goddess. Talent made her legendary. Pride made her eternal. In the heart of Lydia, a young woman named Arachne possessed a gift that blurred the line between the mortal and the divine. Her fingers danced across the loom, creating worlds out of wool and silk. But when a mortal's skill rivals the heavens, the gods take notice. This is the story of a girl who refused to bow, and the goddess who wouldn't be surpassed. Arachne's workshop was a sanctuary of sunlight and cedar. Here she spent her days pulling thread from thin air, it seemed. Her tapestries were not merely cloth, they were windows. When she wove a forest, the viewers felt the coolness of the shade. When she wove a stream, they reached out to touch the water. She was a master of color and shadow, a weaver whose fame grew with every strike of the shuttle. Surely she was taught by Athena herself, the villagers whispered. Among them was Lysandra, a local merchant who traveled far to see the work. She marveled at a depiction of a sunrise so vivid it seemed to warm the room. Only a goddess of craft could have bestowed such grace upon a human hand, Lysandra remarked, echoing the sentiment of all who gathered to gaze at the weaver's miraculous art. But the praise of others became a poison in Arachne's heart. She grew weary of hearing the goddess's name linked to her own. "Why should I give credit to one I have never met?" she declared to the empty room, her eyes flashing with defiance. "My talent is my own. I owe nothing to Athena. Let her come and see if her work can match the perfection of mine." Her arrogance eventually led her to the steps of the temple. In front of the white marble pillars, under the gaze of a stone statue, Arachne shouted her challenge into the sky. She demanded a contest of skill, a trial of the loom. She stood small against the massive architecture, but her voice was loud, with a dangerous ambition that reached the ears of Mount Olympus. The next morning, a shadow fell across Arachne's door. An old woman, wrapped in a tattered gray cloak and leaning on a gnarled wooden staff, entered the workshop. Her voice was like the rustle of dry leaves. "Child," the old woman said softly, "do not seek to equal the gods. Be content to be the greatest of mortals. Ask for Athena's forgiveness, and she may yet show mercy." Arachne laughed, a sharp and cold sound. "You are old and foolish," she spat. "If the goddess is so great, why does she hide? Why does she not face me herself?" At those words, the old woman's rags began to glow with a blinding, celestial light. The staff turned to a spear, and the hunched figure straightened into the majestic, armored form of Athena, the goddess of wisdom. The contest began in a silence so heavy it felt like stone. Athena moved with a grace that was not human. Her shuttle flew like a bird, weaving a tapestry of the 12 Olympian gods in all their terrifying glory. She depicted the triumph of order over chaos, the majesty of the heavens, and the stern warnings for mortals who dared to overreach their station. Arachne did not flinch. She set to work with a feverish intensity, her fingers moving faster than the eye could follow. But she did not weave the glory of the gods. Instead, she wove their shadows, their deceits, their cruelties, and their flaws. Her work was a masterpiece of rebellion, showing the world exactly what she thought of those who ruled from above. When the looms went silent, Athena stepped forward to inspect Arachne's work. Her eyes narrowed as she saw the perfection of the stitches and the stinging truth of the images. The work was flawless, equal to her own in every way. But the disrespect was too great to bear. In a surge of divine fury, Athena tore the mortal's tapestry from top to bottom. "Live on, if you must," Athena hissed, her voice echoing like thunder. "But you shall hang and weave for all of time. And so shall your children, and your children's children." She sprinkled Arachne with the juice of a magical herb. As the liquid touched her, Arachne's hair fell away, her body shriveled, and her fingers lengthened into hairy, jointed legs. In the ruins of an ancient temple, as the first light of dawn touches the broken stone, a tiny creature begins its work. It spins a web of silver, more delicate than any silk. Arachne remains, a shadow in the corner, a reminder that talent is a gift, but pride is a cage. Weave on, weaver, for your story is as eternal as the threads you spin.